Welcome back to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I am joined by current Shattuck St. Mary's women's hockey player who is committed to play on the Union women's hockey team, Giavanna Mancy. This season, Giovanna has 11 points, and she also helped her team win nationals with Little Caesars a few years ago. I'm super excited to have her on the podcast today. So, Giovanna, thank you so much for coming on the pod, and how's everything going?
First, thanks so much for having me. And everything's been great. Obviously, a PG year, I feel like, isn't what everybody has in their plans, but I've been happy to kind of take this opportunity and play at Shattuck and be on the ice every morning and test my skills, I guess, and just keep playing youth hockey, even though I feel like everyone's like, oh my gosh, get me out of the 4 or 5 game weekends. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if there's any place to do a post grad, I feel like Shattuck's kind of the spot for that. Now, how
Yeah.
has your post grad year been going for you so far?
It's been great. Coach Stafford, I feel like, has done an amazing job with reminding everybody kind of consistently that hockey should have joy in it. It doesn't, obviously, it brings you stress and it is stressful to play and you have your teammates that are depending on you at every moment, but we really know how to be disciplined with each other, but also really have the joy and just the fun. In hockey because once that's out of people don't want to play anymore. So I think our team does a really great job of reminding each other that and having fun on and off the ice and also pushing each other on the ice in the weight room. It's a great community to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get the opportunity to go to Shattuck and what made you decide to do a post grad year, I guess? Because I know with the COVID extra year of eligibility, you're starting to see that more in women's hockey. I know it's sort of always a thing in men's hockey, but now you're starting to see it in women's hockey with the COVID year. So I'm just curious what
Mm-hmm.
led you to sort of do that post grad year and how you got the opportunity to go to Shattuck.
Yeah. So my sister actually came to Shattuck, I think 2017 or 2016 because she played soccer. So she came her senior and then did a post grad year. And I was kind of thinking about coming to Shattuck when she was doing her post grad year and I was in 8th grade. So we like kind of overlapped for school. And then I just decided it was too early to like head off to school. I wanted to be home. I was playing on a great team. I was at Little Caesars. Like there really was no reason for me to make the jump to Minnesota besides my sister being here. So then we kind of held off on that and went through my whole recruiting process. Kind of realized after a year at the Hill School that my goals for college changed because I did commit to Penn State so early on. And Union, I started talking to because of a connection through my Hill coaches. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole idea. And they let me know that they did have a spot for the 24 year if I were to take that and want that and do a PG year. And I just kind of talked it out with my parents, talked to the union staff a lot, talked to my coaches at Hill, and we kind of all were just like, wow, this could be a perfect opportunity for you college wise. Like, this really could fit who you are, what you want to do. Their whole environment can really foster you and make you the best person, hockey player and person you can be. And after talking to them and everything, I was like, okay, well, I think that doing a PG year is fine. Like, right, it's one more year under my parents, which is kind of nice. Don't have to go right off to college and deal with all of those antics. And my dad and mom kind of brought up Shattuck again, and I was like, like, yeah, like that could easily fit. Kind of got in contact with the coaches. They let us know, obviously, you have to come and try out. We can't guarantee, but we'd love to have you a part of the program. So we went down that path, and obviously, it's always hard going to a new school, new place. I've been to a lot of new schools, and I can say that Shattuck was the hardest transition, but now that I'm kind of past that transition point, I've absolutely loved it. Everyone here is great. So honestly, 3 months ago, my first month in, if you asked me how my PG year was going, I'd have a completely different answer. But with the help of everybody here and the environment that I'm in, it's been great.
Yeah. And just talk a little bit more about your experience so far with Shattuck and what's it like going to that school? Because obviously it's a very historical
Hmm.
program with so many legendary hockey players that went there before you did. Like for the men's side, McKinnon and Crosby really stand out to me. And then
Yeah.
obviously on the women's side, Brianna Decker and Amanda Kessel and the Lamoureux twins, like those are probably Hall of Fame players. And
Yeah.
how do you sort of what's that sort of all like for yourself?
Well, so tryouts came and I was skating on the ice and I look up and obviously there's Coach Decker, or she was on my bench. I forget if she was looking up in one of the lofts or on our bench skating, but I kind of like said to myself, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like I remember being a kid going to her games and like hoping to see her after the game. I'm pretty sure I have a photo of her and Hillary Knight both signed in my room. So it was for sure a surreal moment, and I was able to play in front of or be coached by Manon Rayon, which also is a very significant women's player. But I think that it kind of hit harder with Coach Decker just because I like she was my role model basically growing up. Like those girls, her era of hockey, the Lamoureux twins, Kessler, those were my girls that I watched growing up and who I wanted to be. So it was for sure a surreal moment. And then we went on to their newer rink that has all the memorabilia all around, all the Natty title banners, the amount of people playing in the NHL, all the pro women, how many people have gone D1, all their plaques are up there. And I was like, wow, like this is super cool to be a part of. And you want to work hard so that you are eventually on that wall. Like that is the mindset and the philosophy I think that kind of fuels the school. You walk past a wall and there is Brianna Decker in her Wisconsin gear with a C on her chest in 2008 or 2009 or something like that. And you have all the NHLers on big fat heads on the wall. So it very much like you are in an environment where all you see around you is success and you want to be like them, or you want to have that type of success. You want your photo to be in a frame on the wall, or your stick hung up, or one of your digits for the women's pro or on the D1 or D3, whatever the case is. Like I think that it means so much to anybody here if they were to end up going on this wall, because I mean, I don't think any of the hockey staff are going around taking down anybody's frames or anything like that anytime soon. So
I
it's
think
kind of
they'd
like
have to.
you.
I think they're probably adding more if
Oh
we're
yeah.
that's probably what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So you basically can cement yourself into a amazing history and be a part of an insane legacy um, coming here. So it's something that I realized that you really kind of had to like you have to soak it all in. I'm here for a year. I can't. I have to control what I can control, and being able to push myself, and obviously even if I'm not ending up on the wall, contributing to something, a part of this program and this whole organization. It's really cool to be a part of. Very, very cool to be a part of.
So let's transition now and talk about the beginning of your career and sort of work all the way down to where you are today. So you're from Toledo, Ohio. So talk
Mm-hmm.
about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
So not many people would think that Toledo, Ohio is kind of like a hockey town, but we are simply because we're 45 minutes away from Detroit, and Detroit is the hockey town. So we kind of joke that we're a little hockey town. Um, kids, I don't even know. We have a lot of outdoor rinks and everything that people would play on. But my first like public outing, I kind of love telling people this, but my first like public outing when I was born, my mom brought me to a hockey rink to watch my brother play. Like it's just kind of the culture in Toledo. If you're not playing football or swimming, like you're a hockey player, and there's so much support behind all of it. Gordie Howe's actually sons and daughters all live in Toledo, so he was be around the rink in the years before he passed. So that I think also got a lot of kids wanting to play even more, because there was a legend walking through their rinks all the time. Just he'd step in to watch squirts all the way up to the high school levels that would play and to the 18U AAA, and he would just go and sit in the rink and watch. And I really love that type of like historical or history side of things, just knowing that somebody that great kind of has his foot into Toledo. So that's kind of like the hockey side for Toledo. And one of my coaches, Kurt Ludwig, read a book on how to coach a girl. And he had a meeting with my parents. I think I was 10 years old. So it was going to be my first year that I was like eligible for 12U hockey. He sat my parents down and was like, listen, Gia will have a spot on my team as long as she wants, but I really think that it would be smart for her to go and play girls hockey. I read a book, and they said it's crucial for her to be with the girls and having that bond with hockey through them. And obviously I know Gia's really close with all the guys on the team, and like they all love having her around, but I think that it would be a great advantage for her to go start playing with the girls. And he set up a tryout for me. He set up a meeting with the coaches for me. So he truthfully, and I've even told him this before and texted him and thanked him over little things, because he helped kickstart my girls hockey career and introduced me to Little Caesars. And I played there for my first 5 or 6 years of girls hockey, and I was surrounded by some of the top 04s in the country and now in college, basically. And being able to be a part of that from when I was 12 years old, having all of those amazing girls on my team that simply wanted to get better, simply loved hockey so much. Um, the culture at Little Caesars for sure reminds me of Shattuck just a little bit. Obviously, we were younger. It wasn't as like serious and demanding, but everybody simply wanted to be better, just to have fun and not lose. Like that team hated losing. That I think is like our biggest maybe like motto you could say, is that playing at Little Caesars, we just hated losing. We had so much fun when we would win, and we would be passing it around, and the jokes would be flying, and the chemistry was great, and energy was amazing. And it was simply because we weren't losing. And obviously that's what everybody wants to do. They don't want to lose. They hate losing. But I think that all those girls on Little Caesars really embodied that. And I mean, we were able to make a run for nationals, and we lost one game that year in overtime to Penn State. And that was our one loss of the year. And we had two other ties, but our record that year was so insane because we knew that we were so close to all leaving for college and all of us spreading apart. We'd been with each other for the past 5 years. There's probably a core of, I mean, 10 to 12 girls moving with each other. And I think that everybody was just trying to squeeze like everything out of the passion fruit, you could say, like all the passion out, and just have fun playing hockey and being successful. So being with Little Caesars and winning that gold medal, I felt like was just a testament to the past 5 years, that all those girls and all the work that was put in. The year before that, our season got cut short on COVID, and we really thought that we were going to be able to take that title. And I don't know if I've mistaken and flipped the two, if we COVID before. I think either way, we just felt like we had kind of been robbed. Like we had a good shot at going to nationals and winning gold, and then we did it. And I think I was on an adrenaline rush for a week. My face was hurting so much because of my smiles after the game. And I actually knew that game that I would be leaving to go to Shattuck and make that PG year. So it was also like very bittersweet to me, because those girls I grew up playing hockey with. And it was never anything to do with the girls on the team or not liking the environment that I was at that made me want to go. It's that I wanted to be challenged academically, and the Hill School had reached out to me, and I just kind of fell in love with their whole idea, their whole philosophy. They're like, it's an amazing place to be at, the Hill School. And I am sad that I was only there for the 2 years that I was. But I was also very lucky that I even had the opportunity to go there. So after my last year with Caesars, I got in contact with the Flyers coach and let him know that I was going to the Hills School, and that like thank you basically for like having me on my team, on his team, because he actually hadn't seen me. Well, I went to the tryouts, but it was basically like, okay, yes, like you have a very good shot at being on our team, like welcome type of deal. So it was really great to kind of be opened with welcoming arms from the Flyers team, because we did have a lot of new girls coming through also. And then when I got to Hill, it was the same type of idea, and everything I knew kind of just fit into place. And I was easily, those 2 years at the Hill, I made amazing friend connections that I will have in years to come. And the hockey and just how to carry yourself on and off the ice also is just um, nowhere else I think is like that. It's hard to talk about the Hill because there's so many aspects of it that's hard to even explain in words. The coaches there only want for you what is best. And people might say that a lot about a lot of places and a lot of schools, but I just went there and visited them, and there was a snowstorm, and both of them sternly looked me in the eyes and said, please call me if anything happens in the car. We will get in the car. We will get you here. We'll put you up in the little hotel we have on campus. Like if you're driving and anything happens, call us immediately. And that was me being gone for a year, and that's still the same relationship and care that they have for their student and ex-student. It just, that place makes you feel so good about yourself that you want other people to feel that. So that's how you respond and you act to everybody there on and off the ice. And I know this is about hockey. So on the ice, one of the things that I thought was I'd never seen before with coaches is that Ari Baum, after every drill, you would sprint back to the line. We didn't do conditioning during practice because every drill you should be going 100 miles an hour for the most part, depending on like obviously what you're doing. But as soon as the whistle blows, you're either sprinting back to the line or sprinting all the way down to the other side of the ice. It's like everything moves so fast. It's like almost the pace of the game, and everything, we have a practice plan and everything's out to the minute. And you read the plastic practice plan before, there's a quote at the top. You have all your drills you see, and there's three things on every drill that we want to make sure we're doing. So we had something called a Middlebury stretch, and it was a big passing drill. So it was hard tape to tape passes. Feet are moving while you're passing, and you're, I forget the last one, but it's like things like that. And seeing that mentally and being able to say, okay, this is what we're doing this practice. This is how I'm going to execute. These are the things I know I need to work on. And then also having Laura McConney, who is the defensive coach, say, okay, Gia, like, we know you can do that. Let's focus on this because this is what's important. This is what's going to make us successful in the game. This is what's going to make your game successful. And one of the things that 100% stuck with me from the Hill is I can still hear my coach McConney yelling at me to get out of the zone to regap. And that's a silly thing, but it's a hard habit for a defenseman to break, especially when the game gets faster. You have to get out of the zone. As soon as the puck's out of the zone, you're out of the zone. You can't get caught in the D zone if the puck's getting regrouped. So that is like my kind of biggest takeaway on the hockey side, skill side, is like, got to get out of the zone, got to make plays, like the tempo, not rushing, but like having haste. So the coaching that I had in those 2 years, even with Chris Bear, like all three of those coaches did an amazing job. Coach Chris Bear and coached at the Flyers, if other people don't realize that. So having those sets of coaches was great over those 2 years, both, of course, very different. And it was hard because I did a split season with the Flyers and Hill. So I played 3 months Flyers, went and played Hill prep school season, and then I did 3 months back with the Flyers to finish. So that was a lot for sure, managing with the school at Hill, because it is for sure an academic rigorous school. but I also found out over those 2 years that I absolutely love the grind. That's why I'm kind of most excited for college, is because I know that it's 4 years of my life where I get to play hockey, go to school with amazing girls. I've met them, and it's going to be a grind. We're going to be in the workout room on the ice, making each other better, and the Flyers and the Hill School, that combination truly showed me how far I can push myself, and also that being in the grind and working hard and saying at the end of a workout or a practice, like I just did that. That is what that gives you is just amazing. And I was happy that I was able to experience it over that 2 years. And then I graduated from the Hill School, and you're not really supposed to do a postgraduate year from where you graduated for prep. So that's why I started looking around, and I ended up at Shattuck. And obviously, I said before how it's been so far, but yeah, that's my
Yeah.
kind of roller coaster of a hockey career. But I wouldn't change any of it or regret anything, any choice or decision that was made. I all know that that's what's made me into the person, the hockey player that I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear just sort of your experiences in all those three different places. Because most players I talk to, at least from the women's side, usually go to one place and that's where they are until college. So it's definitely kind of unique from your perspective how you played in three different programs, like
Yeah, I
high-end
get.
programs, and still, well, it seems like it's worked out for you. And I sort of want to ask you about your recruiting process to Union. So you were originally committed to Penn State.
Mhm.
Why didn't that work out? And you can talk about that as much as you can, obviously.
Okay.
And why did you
Yeah.
try to what made Union, I guess, the place for you when that decision happened, I guess.
Yeah. So I have friends at Penn State, and they absolutely love it, and friends on the hockey team and not on the hockey team. I know that it's a great school. It's a big school. When I was younger, all I wanted was Big Ten. I'm from Ohio, so Ohio State is like we love Ohio State. I'm big Buckeye fans. Um, so when it came down to it, I was in eighth grade when I committed to Penn State, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be amazing. Like all of the football games, I'm a big football fan, all the football games, that environment, Happy Valley, 50,000 students, like this is going to be amazing. And um, 3 years went past, COVID happens. I was talking to the coach, and there obviously was backup with COVID and all the fifth years and just the uncertainty of that. And I was like, okay, well, I actually don't even know if I want a 50,000 school. And do I risk going knowing there's a backup with the COVID and how many people are going to be there? And I want to just play hockey and be around people that are amazing and support me in every aspect. And obviously, not saying that Penn State couldn't offer me that. And I easily think they could have. My good friend Leah Stecker is on the team, and she loves it. I still keep in contact with her every once in a while, just a quick little like message, and she was so excited for me to get there. And then when I told her I wasn't, she was like, "Oh, well, I'm still so happy for you with whatever you do." So I know that Penn State could have gave me something great. And then I went to the Hill School, and I kind of realized, okay, well, I want to be pushed academically for my career outside of hockey. And I want to go to my mindset before was I want hockey to take me to the best hockey school I can go to. That was my mindset. And then I kind of grew up and I matured, and I realized, okay, well, I want hockey to be able to take me to the best school I can go and still be able to play hockey. And I think both routes are very, very valid. And I have friends that are saying, no, I want to go where hockey can take me to the best hockey school. And that's how I was for the longest time. And I mean, that's who I was around growing up playing hockey. It made sense in my head. And then I kind of got out of just the hockey bubble and I went to Hill, and it kind of opened my horizon and said, okay, well, all of these people that I'm going to school with, they're going to be successful in the like academia route. Like they're not banking like, well, I want to like Shattuck is I'm going to be the best player I can be. So for boys, like hopefully I can go to juniors. Hopefully I can make it to the NHL. And for the girls' side, it's I want to be at the top 10 program. I want to be able to play pro women's. And obviously, I'm not saying that I don't want that, but my mind did change, and I was said, okay, I want to be pushed academically. I want to have a classroom that has 13 people in a discussion. I know that if I have a lecture hall of 70 people and it's at 9:30 and I just played a game that night, I don't know if I'm going to get up because my professor's not even going to know I'm walking through the door. So that kind of all started really running through my mind. And after talks with Penn State, um, I just realized, like, this isn't going to be my fit. And I want to thank you, obviously, for the past few years that this like agreement has been in, and no disrespect on both sides, but this isn't going to be the best route for me. And obviously, going through that, it was really hard because, I mean, I didn't want the whole hockey world to be talking, oh my gosh, like, she's getting decommitted. This is crazy. What's going to happen? Because, I mean, things like that happen all the time. And I was super nervous about what that response was going to be. And I didn't really like come forward with it right away because, like, it was just confusing. I didn't know exactly. I knew what I wanted to do, but obviously you never know how people are going to respond.
Yeah, well, you're also
So
making like a big decision in eighth
yeah,
grade when most people don't make that decision until they're like 16 and 17 years old. That's why I think the new recruiting rule now is much better because
yeah,
I don't think the way it was going now, some of these coaches would recruit people before they're in high school, and it was kind of ridiculous. And they had to, they really had no choice.
yeah,
But it was just kind of like you can't, it's hard to make a kid make a decision about college when they're barely in high school in the first place. Like you need to learn more about yourself and like what you want
exactly.
as a person versus like just sort of because what I wanted in eighth grade is not what I want now. And I think majority of people will say that. So that's I just that I don't know, just something I thought of.
No, and when I started to talk to more people about that, that was their exact response. So it made me more comfortable to be like, yeah, that's not where I'm going anymore. And um, I don't know, it was great that I was at Hill because those coaches during that time, they said, okay, block everything else out. Like you don't need to focus about or think about what is happening around you. Like decide what what is going to make Gia happy in the long run, basically, is what they were telling me. And I had a conversation with, I believe, the first coach I talked to at Union was Chris Ardito, and everything he was saying to me, I was like, this like can't be real. Like, my first conversation, I believe, with Union, I had with Chris Ardito, and when I was talking to him, it was kind of like music to my ears. Like their philosophy very much followed what my coach Ari Baum was doing, and it was great to see that on the coaching staff, everybody kind of had their like different role. Like Chris Ardito really focuses. He's like the more statistical side of things. Like we'll go over the film and be like, okay, well, like constructive criticism, and like that's kind of his role, and he does the recruiting and stuff like that. um and then Coach Skiba, I was able to see when I went on my official, him talking to the locker room and the message that he was getting across and the relationship that he had with the girls. It wasn't like, of course it's I'm your head coach, respect me, but it wasn't in like a snooty way, I'm your head coach, respect me. Like we have respect because it's mutual. I don't know if that
Yeah.
like makes sense.
I feel like it's sort of like you guys found a way to make it to Division I college hockey. Not many players can do that, so you automatically should get respect from that just standpoint. And you're a human being that you should get disrespect from that standpoint. And obviously, like as the players, I think they probably recognize to be a head coach in Division I college hockey is not easy. So
Yeah,
it's sort of like that sort of not like known feeling that like I guess a feeling that like you don't like think about, but you don't like say it. It's just sort of known.
And that's like my one of my biggest things that I stand on is mutual respect. So when I walked into that environment and that's how everybody was acting and conducting themselves, and the fact that Coach Liv, who's on the younger side, played college hockey, the relationships and morale and how she acts and holds herself and communicates with the girls on the team, it just kind of like it did blow my mind. Like I was in utter shock that first. I didn't know what union was my first time around in the recruiting process, which I mean does make sense, but still, I I'm so blessed, truthfully, that my coach at the Hill School put me in contact with union and said to me, "Gee, I'd never tell a student where to go. I would never force them or push them in the direction of a college, but learning who you are and watching who you are over the past 2 years and how much you love the Hill School, I can see you at Union with those coaches in that environment." And I respect Ari Baum at the Hill School so dearly, and I've wanted him. Like I've tried to basically shape myself or hold myself to the point where he first off is proud of me, but also like wants to be like my life mentor. Like that is the kind of effect that he had on me, that I want to be able to pick up the phone and call him at any moment to ask him questions or things like that. And so him telling me that and me really, I mean, thinking about that for a while, because it's a big decision, obviously. Everybody knows that. So when he kind of sat me down and said that to me, it really got my wheels rolling, because I still didn't know if I wanted to go that small. Like Union has 2,500 students. Obviously, I didn't want the 50,000, but that's a ginormous jump. And that's what everyone was saying to me. That's a ginormous jump. How are you doing that? Like, are you fine with that? And after months of going through the recruitment and talking with coaches that I highly respect and that know me, not just on the ice, I realized that Union would be my perfect fit. And after being committed for um, almost a year now, maybe to them, I have been nothing but happy and grateful. And even though I'm not there yet, they still are so supportive and um, text me to check in and let me know I'm coming to my games. And we actually are starting to do Zoom calls like once a month just to make sure, like we do some film, and then I think we'll eventually talk about what it's going to look like to come onto the team. And they're doing that with the whole recruiting class. And I think that having a coaching staff that cares that much, not only about their team and how the team's doing, but the girls that are coming to the team, I think it's just amazing.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. I'm excited to do this one with you. So first one is, what music do you like to listen to?
I'm all across the board with music. Just this past year, I've actually started liking country. Before that, I wouldn't let anybody play it off my phone. Um, love Drake, obviously. Love 21 Savage. Um, love Flo Milli, actually. Kind of a random one, I think. That's kind of like my rap side. And then um, I guess like indie pop, I guess, is my other genre that I like. And there are so many different ones I probably couldn't even name their names.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm kind of all over the board. Probably country and hip hop are my two main ones, but I also like
Mm-hmm.
old school rock. That's fun to sort of
Oh
delve
yeah.
into every once in a while. So, but I feel like Morgan Wallen's made country more mainstream along with Luke Combs. So that's probably why you've started listening to it. Because I just
Yeah.
think even non-country fans like both of those guys.
Yeah. I got in because of Zach Bryan.
Oh, okay.
That he pulled me into country, and him and Morgan Wallen. And I know I barely even listen to Morgan Wallen, honestly. But so I could be a fake country fan, but I basically only listen to Zach Bryan. But then obviously like the originals, like if you're out on the lake or like something like that, all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
OGs.
for sure.
So
Yeah, I listen to pretty much Morgan Wallen, Thomas Rhett, some Luke
yeah.
Combs, but definitely a basic country fan myself. So don't worry, I won't be judging you on that. Now, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
um all right, I'm gonna shout out one of my friends because we actually talked about this one time. And I think that she'd be the only person that could actually be able to capture who I am inside and out, and it's Maggie Jacoby. I
All
played
right.
with her at the Flyers. um my dad, a week into playing there, made a comment about Maggie and I, like being friends or whatever. And then a month later, he was like, "Yeah, you're right. I think you actually like just found like your twin flame." And coming from my dad, like it's kind of funny because I didn't even think you'd know like twin flame, like you know what I mean. But 100%, she would have to play the role.
Oh, they know. They don't want to admit it, but they know. I think that they act like they don't, but most people that age do know. I feel like, in my opinion, at least, it's like because you see it all the time, like in mainstream media and stuff.
Yeah,
So, I would say for me, probably like Matt McConaughey would be super cool. Just kind of a
yeah,
chill, cool guy.
that
So that's who
yeah,
I would go
laid
with.
back.
Yeah, for sure. Either that or like Ryan Reynolds, someone that like I can just brag to people that he played me in a
Yeah, that
movie,
they
even
if
though.
if it had to be an actor, Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love all of Margot Robbie's work. She's amazing, but that's like if it had to be an actor. If it had to be anybody in the world that I could choose, it'd be Maggie because she'd beat anybody's acting playing me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now let's get on to the next one, which is what's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
So I'm actually reading a book from my trainer that I had over the summer times. Her name is Sil Corbett. It's called Defunk. Um, it's an amazing book. It's nonfiction, so it's a more serious read. But it talks about basically everything under the moon to help your mindset over things. And it anytime, and I've read it a few times now, so any time that I kind of need almost like a mental pick me up or anything, I'll open that book up and read any one of the chapters. And it's just the little things. And one of the biggest takeaways I would take from the book is you can have a great mindset, but you always have to be maintaining it and basically watering the grass. Like you can talk the talk, obviously, but you have to actually walk the walk, like they say, you know? And I for sure strayed away from that. And I think everybody does, but I prided myself on my mindset and how I handled things. And then there's a moment that I was like, wait, this isn't usually how I am about things. Like what? And just like picking up that book and giving me the little reminder that you have to be maintaining your mindset. That's the next step of having a good one. So anybody that's kind of looking for a book like that, I would for sure give that a read because it's extremely eye opening, but also everything like clicks.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, but probably the most interesting thing I saw this past week was the whole Cutter Gauthier situation where he was on the Flyers and then decided not to be, and then got traded to the Ducks, and then didn't talk to Danny Briere and Keith Jones about it, and then now fans are upset at him over it, which I think is a little ridiculous. Them coming to BC and trying to make fun of him. I think that's a little lame if you ask me, especially if you're a grown adult going to a college student's game, but I just think that whole situation's pretty crazy, and I know it's not over because eventually he's going to have to go back to Philly and play with Anaheim. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out in the next couple of seasons, I guess.
I actually wrote in my notes before this, just I didn't cover it just because we weren't really on that. It would have just been weird. But for Philly, one of the things playing with them is that we were just so obnoxious and had so much fun that it didn't really matter. And the quote that I think every Philadelphian loves, and obviously I'm from Ohio, but living in Pennsylvania the last 2 years and playing for the Flyers, like I want to live in Philly when I'm older. I want to be a native Philly. I want my kids to be like that whole culture is just like unreal. So the quote that I put down is that um I'm blanking right now. No one likes us if we don't care. Like that's a big Philly thing, right? Um so the fact that all those Phillies fans are doing that, and the fact that that was Philly's response to Cutter, it only makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It is an organization where, oh, if you don't want to play for this, okay, that's fine. The fact that even for the I'm getting off topic. Never mind.
It's all good. No, like I listen, everyone has the choice to where they want to play in life. And as an adult, like if I don't like my job, I can quit and go somewhere
Yeah.
else. So I don't think anyone should be ripping him on that for that
Yeah, no,
decision.
they
The
shouldn't, but it
problem
makes
I
sense.
have with it is that you wouldn't really give an explanation to the Flyers organization why he didn't want to be there, and then like wouldn't talk to them at all during the whole World Juniors, which I think is a bit
Weird, yeah.
disrespectful. Like you should at least give them a reason if they ask to or talk to them, especially if they're flying all the way to Sweden to ask you that question. So that was my only kind of issue
Yeah,
with the whole
no.
thing. But other than that, I think it's gonna be a fun rivalry. And listen, I get it. I would much
Oh, for
rather
sure.
be in Southern California if I had the choice. But I definitely I'm a Boston fan, so I respect Philly a lot. But I definitely I don't know. I think I like the quote though that you said like we don't care. I think that should be that's a good life advice for anyone
It is.
listening. Is just like most people don't care about a lot about other people. As I know we act like we do sometimes, but a lot of times you don't. So if like you want to do something, just do it. If you want to go talk to
Oh,
someone, just go
100%.
talk to them. And if it doesn't work out, then no one really cares, and you're probably never going to see that person again or never have that experience again. So that's sort of the way I look at things now.
Yeah. No, but I was just saying I had to remind myself that this year, like totally new environment, and I knew coming in as a girl PG, it is hard. I've never played. I played with one of the girls on my team before, and it was at a USA camp. So I for sure have had to remind myself like they have no idea who you are. Um, and you should be comfortable enough in your own skin that if that person doesn't like you, okay, who cares? Like, I have a year here, and I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to be as nice as I can to people and be genuine and just show people who I am basically. And if they don't like it, it's fine. And
Yeah.
I mean, every time I go to a new school or anything, I have to remind myself that. But knowing that that's Philly's mantra is, I love it.
Yeah. I just think a lot of people care way too much about what other people think about them, and they sort of worry too much, don't worry as much as like doing stuff that makes them happy or trying to find
Yeah,
people
that's the
that
hard
make them
reality.
happy. But the truth is, most people, I guess, like you're not, no one, not everyone in the world is gonna like you. So just
Yeah,
find
you
the
got to do
people
what's best
that,
for you.
just to find the people that do and chill with those people, I guess, sort of
Hmm.
my sort of low key advice just for anything. But
Yeah.
one more question, I guess, non
Okay.
hockey wise, before we end the interview. But it's just, I was told that you have one of the best off the ice styles at Shattuck St. Mary's right now. So, do you think you have the best style in all of junior hockey right now? And I'm curious to see what that's going to look like with Union when they start posting those pregame outfit photos next season. But besides yourself, I guess, who do you think has the best style on the team?
Ainsley Tuffy. She's my girl when it comes to that stuff. We keep each other not in check. In check's the wrong word. But she finds clothes, I find clothes, send it to each other. I'm actually surprised. Thank you to whoever said that.
I try to keep the sources on the down
Yeah, yeah,
low.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But I don't know. I for sure I try to go for a comfy look. Obviously, like the sweatshirt I'm in right now is kind of massive. But
it looks
it
good.
has
Don't
the
worry about it.
I think that it has a cool little look to it. I don't know. I try not to fall into trends. I know it's hard because some of the things I see are obviously super cute that everybody has, and I want to get. But I don't know, sticking to your own unique style and even like little things. Like obviously, I go to Lululemon or Free People or like Urban Outfitters, kind of the basic hitters for girls' clothes. But I don't know, the touch of just little uniqueness or anything like that. I'm not saying that, oh, I'm super unique or I have crazy cool clothes or anything like that. Like that kind of shocked me. But I don't know. People say that fashion is pain, or that's like kind of the saying. I
Yeah.
disagree. You
Yeah.
can have a killer outfit and still be comfortable.
Oh yeah.
There's there's something
I'm not gonna
different.
make myself uncomfortable to look good.
Yeah, there's something different about a cozy outfit or like a outfit that's nice. That's like a good outfit. There's something different about like that feeling like, oh wait, I put that together and this is
Yeah.
kind of tough. But yeah, I actually just Ainsley Tuffy, the girl that I said that I kind of go clothes off of, she actually got two shoes of the same thing, and they're these silver sweet shoes. I'm so excited. I was looking for silver shoes. She's like, yeah, I got two. Do you want to buy them off me? I was like, okay, perfect. So now we're gonna try to throw a little fit together of us like
Nice.
matching with the
Nice.
shoes or whatever. But um yeah, it'll be fun, my game day dress. I was already talking to my mom about it, and I was saying these little things that I want to do or want to make to just add my own little personal touch.
Yeah.
That's really
I,
all it's about.
I feel like you gotta wear the hats too, like a bucket hat. I have not seen many like girls hockey players pull it off, so I feel like you should try that.
The bucket hat. I don't know. My dad actually, my dad is kind of the fashion, I guess, guru. He keeps up with the trends. He has on all of his like little name brand, like not crazy, but like the things that some of the kids are wearing now. And I'm like, how are you finding this? He's like, I don't know, I just like how it looks. I'm like, okay, okay. So I already know that he's gonna be helping me put together my outfits, and he always tries to push a bucket hat on me. And I've never really liked it. So if you see me wearing a bucket hat at one of the games, then it'll be because of your suggestion.
All right. Shout out Mr. Mancy for that one though. I feel like he'll push it as well, but I'll take some credit for it as well. But I guess I just want to say thanks so much, Gia, for coming on the pod. I really appreciate your time. It's good talking with you, and obviously it's gonna be super fun to see you play next season with the Union. And I wish you all the best for the rest of your season with Shattuck. And yeah, it's crazy how all the stuff that you talked about is gonna come to a close at some point. You're gonna be in college hockey officially, but looking forward to seeing you play next season. And I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I know, super excited to go and go join the Chargers out on the ice and play under that coaching staff.
They'll always be the Dutchman to me or Dutch woman to me. So I'm still not with the new name change, but that's just a personal thing for me.
I think that's for a lot of people.